Hey, what is up guys? Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely great and welcome back to another episode of Monday Show. And in this episode of Monday Show, I have the review of this iPhone 7 that I have been using for around 1 month. So it's the review of iPhone 7. Anyway, let's start with the testing all the time. Alright, now let's start with the build quality. So what is about the build quality? The build quality is pretty premium. As you know that the matte finish black is like, it's my favorite color by all time because the black doesn't look so black and it's like a smooth silk black that I really like, and it is pretty durable because of not having glass. It is pretty heck of a durable. Like I can throw this thing and I would be free, like oh then nothing will happen. But all those glass back devices, if I drop those things, I'll feel that oh my gosh, what have I done, is it cracked? But in this device I never feel that. That's the reason I always carry this thing because it's top durable. Anyway, let me show you. There is no headphone jack. Oh my gosh, there is no headphone jack. What the heck is going on? There is no headphone jack. Yes, you hear it right. There is no headphone jack on this device. Only the lighting port, mute switch, and here is the power on off switch, and here's the touch ID that is pretty accurate and pretty fast as of my experience. The display quality is also pretty amazing. It is pretty durable, looks pretty nice, looks very amazing in these days. It looks very shiny, glossy, and it feels very premium. That is the reason I think that build quality, it's a what should I give you? Should I start giving some ranking? I think it should be like 8 out of 10 as a small and premium device. And now it's time to talk about the processor and also the RAM. So it holds the A10 Fusion chip that is from 2017. I just forgot it, but it holds the A10 Fusion chip. With that, it also holds a 2 gigs of RAM. Like with all this combination, it works pretty well. But I just wish it had 1 more GB of RAM. That would be much more better. But in 2 GB, it's perfectly workable because it is running on iOS 13, the latest iOS 13.2.2, and it is also working pretty champ. There is no problem. Every single apps are opening pretty fluent, pretty fast. So I don't have any complaint about the processor and also the RAM, because if you play PUBG and if you want to see all the gaming reviews like playing PUBG on iPhone 7 or playing Free Fire or any games on iPhone 7, then you can comment down below, because I already have a gaming channel where I made PUBG on iPhone 7, playing Garena Free Fire on iPhone 7. I already made those. If you want to watch, then go on that channel. I will give you the link on the description and you go there, you can check all the gaming reviews. But in my reviews, in my opinion, as I made the videos, as I tested this thing, I have to say that in 2019 it still holds with all those devices. 2019 in terms of pretty much everything, but the battery life, not that great. We'll be back in the battery life very soon. Anyway, that was all about the processor. It's pretty alright, not the best, but it's pretty alright. It can hold all the things in 2019. So that was all about the processor and RAM. I just wish it had 1 more GB of RAM. That was the simple complaint I have. After all of the things, camera is one of the most important things on a smartphone in these days, because every single people using cameras for their pretty much everyday life. Someone captures their own lifestyles like me, then camera is really important, and that is why we're going to talk about the camera. And in the camera sections, you have a hell lot of things to experiment with, and I know that there is no portrait mode, but I have a fix. If you want to watch that, then you should subscribe. I'll show you how you can get the portrait mode on iPhone 7 with no money. It's totally free. I'll show you very simply next week's Saturday. Anyway, now let's talk about the camera section. What we have here, I have the camera section, and here you will get the slow motion, time lapse, video, photo, square, panorama. And in terms of selfie, where you will get just the time lapse, slow motion, video, photo, square, pano. No, there is no pano on the front camera. Why then? Why is pano there? Anyway, so these are the settings, and let me show you some samples that I have taken tomorrow, because tomorrow was raining and I thought that let's take some photos in the rain session because that will look much more better. So I thought, and I also did that. That's the reason I have some rainy time video and also photos. Alright, this is the front camera test of iPhone 7 in the rain, super rain. As you can see, it's super raining. There's the reason I'm using this umbrella for protecting me, not the phone, because the phone is waterproof. Anyway, now let me show you the back camera. This is me walking in water because it's raining super, and this is the back camera of iPhone 7. It's the test one of the back camera of iPhone 7, but you cannot zoom while you are recording. As you can see, this is the camera test of iPhone 7. It is pretty stable. I think you have already seen the samples. So in terms of the video sections, you will be able to capture 720p 30, 1080p 30, 1080p 60 and 4K 30. So those are the maximum video capability, and in terms of slow motion you will get the 1080p 120 and 720 240. But I will personally recommend you to keep your slow motion at 1080p 120. That will look much more better because the resolution is better, but 120 on the 1080p is my prefer. Sometimes the highlight rollouts are missing, so that is the reason you may see some weird artifacts some places where there is a lot of highlight, then that place is going to be burned out because of not having super high resolution or high quality, high processing power as iPhone XS Max, iPhone 11 or any like Note 10 Plus or any devices like that. But still it is working pretty well in these days also. So I wish it had a little more highlight rollout. That would be like a good thing, but it doesn't have that, so we cannot do anything. But if you have a perfect lighting, pretty well lighting, then it's pretty well. But when it is low light, then it starts to fall back because the sensor is not that great or not that big, and the processing is also not that superb. That's the reason in terms of night it cannot hold that well. At those part, like it starts to fall down a little, but I think that it's not a really big deal because in terms of night it should be a night, and in terms of day it should be a day. So I really don't care that much. That's the reason I don't have any superb complaint about this thing. So that was all for the camera. I think you got pretty much all the ideas, and if you have something on your mind to ask me about the camera, then you can comment. I will just reply you, or if I miss something, then you should also let me know in the comment section. So after all, if you don't have a good battery, how you will be able to enjoy all the features on your phone? So that is the reason I think battery life is the most important thing on your phone, tablet or laptop. In terms of battery life, it is not that great. As I told you from a little bit back, that the battery life on this device is not that great because the battery life is only 1960, I think so, and that is the reason the battery life doesn't work that well. But I have to say that it is pretty well. It's not the worst, but I wish it had much more better battery life. As you know that small iPhones never had battery life that great. Every single day I use my device for 4 to 6 hours, and after 4 to 6, I think you can hold like 5 to 6 hours if you have 100% charge with playing a little game like 1 or 2 hours of PUBG, or using the camera for 30 minutes, using YouTube for 30 minutes, or using Creator Studio and all the things. Like 6 hours is the maximum that you can hold on this device with a mid to heavy use. So that is about the battery life. So you should expect 5 to 6 hours. As I have to say something, that my battery life is right now 85%. So that is another problem that I have. If I had 100%, I think it could last like 7 to 8 hours. But because of having 85%, it lasts like 6 hours or a little more than 6 hours. So in terms of user interface, you know that Apple is the only company who sends the updates till the device dies. So the update and the final software, it is using the latest version, that is iOS 13.2.2. that is the latest. From that day, from these days, it is also running the latest software. I think another more 2 or 3 years it is going to be running on the latest software. So I think you should not have a lot of issues, and if you like the Apple's iOS, then you should not have any kind of issues. So the user interface, it is using the latest version for next 2 years. I think it will get the update, so there is no complaint about the thing. And with that said, guys, that was all for this one and this review. And if I missed something, let me know in the comment section. Still, I'm trying to be a little more perfect making all these things, because still I'm not a pro, a knob pro, and I'm the middle guy. Bye.